Good morning. How is everybody today? Is everybody ready to listen to some good rock music? Awesome. My name is Chance McElhaney. I'm the Communications Director for the Iowa Insurance Division, and I just want to thank some of our partners here that have helped put this on. So I've got Jessica Feimer here with EVERFI. How many of you know EVERFI? Awesome. You guys are all going to be taking EVERFI at some point, and we just want to thank them. They did a lot of help in getting all of you here today. And I want to thank Carolyn Powell with Funding the Future. They're the nonprofit that helps put on these shows by Gooding and a lot of other artists. So we're just really happy that everybody could be here in Des Moines today. And so you may wonder, why is the Iowa Insurance Division doing this? And the real reason is that you may learn a lot of cool things at school, but the one thing that you will absolutely need in your life is to understand how to manage your money. And how the insurance division fits in is insurance protects you with whatever risks that you have, and so you want to make sure to understand the very basics to be able of money, to be able to protect yourself and make sure that the life that you live is exactly how you want it to be. Because money doesn't buy you happiness, but it sure can make it a little easier and can buy you some peace of mind. So without further ado, I want to test. How many of you have been to a concert before? Lots of you. Okay. How many of you were told by your teacher that you could be really loud at this event? Okay, because I'm going to tell you that right now. I want you to be really loud. So we're gonna test it out. Okay, I want to see if this side's louder or this side's louder. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Come on, you guys can do better than that. Let's try again. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you for being here. We are going to start with a short intro video from Gooding, and then I want to hear that as loud as you can possibly be when they come out, okay? Thank you for being here.
Hey, this is Gooding. I'm a singer-songwriter, a guitar player, and a producer. I tour about 6 months a year, got a bunch of music and film and TV shows, but my favorite thing is playing live. And I am so thrilled to be here with you today with some of my favorite people on the planet. From Los Angeles, California, Aaron O'Neill on guitar and vocals, and also from LA, Mike G on the drums. We've been out on the road for many years. We played in the US, Canada, and the UK. We've been through all the typical road dog initiations of stolen gear, vans on fire, cooking ramen in the coffee pots of the motels around the country. But all of it made us a family, and we're so proud to have made a life out of our musical dreams. Our original music has been featured on over 200 film and TV shows, including CSI, Scandal, MLB, Portlandia, Bloodline. We even had a track featured in the DVD release of Johnny Cash's Walk the Line, and that's an honor to say the least. One of our proudest moments was being invited to Beatrice, Nebraska, where their drumline based their halftime show around our music. We got to join them out on the stage, play for the town, and they went on to win their regional competition. We've played shows in every state in the lower 48. We've donated 16 shows to our men and women in the armed forces. We've been invited to Walter Reed Hospital and for a private tour of the White House. We built a fan-funded bus with recording gear inside running off of solar panels, and we've taken it to over 200 schools around the country to talk to students about their finances, their futures, and changing our communities for the better. This past couple years, we've been able to meet some amazing people, including some of rock and roll's royalty, including Gene Simmons, Bon Jovi, Willie Nelson, and the grandfather of rock and roll itself, Chuck Berry. We look forward to seeing you out on the road soon.
Des Moines, it is so good to be here. Thank you all for having us. We're going to play some rock and roll for you. Going to give you everything we got. Let's start out with a thing called Because It Hurts. All right. 1, 2, 3. Because it hurts. You don't want to let anybody through. Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody love you. Anybody love you. Down by the river in Austin. Before we changed our names. Song in your fire. Future in your flames. Now you're getting scared, cause everything is real. When fear is standing up, your faith is got to kneel. Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody through. Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody love. Way up high in the morning. Anybody love. I said, woo. A time you best remember. Blew up, you caused a scene. Never announce your intention. Never announce your scheme. All right, here we go, y'all. Now you're getting scared, cause everything is, that's it. When fear is standing up, your faith is got to kneel. Cause it hurts, yay, yay. You don't want to let anybody through. Cause it hurts. You don't want to. Y'all are wonderful. Let anybody love you. Anybody love you. I said, woo. All right. Here we go. Time. Gonna take time. Everything will work out fine. Yay. Gonna take time. Time. Gonna take time. Everything will work out fine. Gonna take. Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody go. Cause it hurts. Get ready, y'all. You don't want to let anybody. I'm gonna sing and sing right back. Let anybody love you. That's it. Y'all from Los Angeles, California, Miss Erin O'Neill.
Oh, 'cause it hurts. I didn't want to let anybody through. No, 'cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody go. 'Cause it hurts. I didn't want to let anybody through. No, 'cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody love you. Anybody.
Cause it hurts. Hey. You don't want to let anybody through. Cause it hurts. You don't want to. Here we go. Let anybody love you. Anybody love you. Thank y'all. We appreciate it. Yeah. This is going to be a good time. Thank you so much. We're going to do something brand new. It's not off of any of our records. We're going to try something out on you. Most of us are from California, or at least have lived in California at some point. This is called California Gold. Yeah, buddy. Here in California, we got everything we need. Murder, baby, murder on that big old silver screen. That's just what you think, not darling. That's just what you know. Keep on wasting everything and reaping what you sow. Hey! The past is all the dead now and the future all the cold. I got one thing left to hide and one thing left to hold. Some things can't be bought now, or some things can't be sold. I just wanna get back to the California. Here we go!
It's time to live it, baby. Leave all your troubles behind. Please know there are ways so they can change your mind.
It's too bad for the devil takes a hold. I just wanna get back to the California gold. Never break the chain now and forever break the mold. I just wanna get back to the California gold. Here we go!
It's time to live it, baby. Leave all your troubles behind. Please know there are ways so they can change your mind.
All right! That's it, y'all! All right, Des Moines, all right. Watch out!
Oh, I just wanna get back to the California gold. Yeah, yeah. Oh, nothing really matters but the California gold. Oh, I just wanna get back to the California gold. Oh, nothing really matters but the California gold.
Man, y'all are freaking wonderful. Thank you so much. That's beautiful out there. Beautiful. Give it up for Miss Erin O'Neill on the vocals and guitar and Mr. Mike G. World on the drums. Watch out. We're going to play something that we're going to have a video coming out for here in just a few weeks. It'll be our next single off our record, Building the Sun. This is called Horses of War. say when you come around. From the first breath to the last breath, we battle through the ground. You know the sport intense me to pieces. No, I never want you to lie, but I can't handle the truth now, honey. I see the little light of look in your eyes. You're moving armies to find me, you'll never find me. When you come around, from the first breath to the last breath, we battle through the ground. You know this war intense me to pieces. It's all the years they won't get back, they won't get clean, yeah. Stop, wasted up in the in-between. Yeah. It's all the years we won't get back, we won't get clean. Come around, from the first breath to the last breath, we battle through the ground. You know this war intense me to pieces. When you come around, we'll lay it out, we'll first breath out, we'll last breath out, battle through the ground. We'll lay it out, know this war intense me to pieces. We're gonna play one more song for you. Thank you again, y'all are freaking wonderful. Thank you so much. This is called The Last Train Out. Head full of opera, there's still a little voice. Nobody made you do it, you always had a choice. Victim, little victim, screaming out, you're screaming on. Fear is the map, regret those empires upon. Here we go. Carve up the wasteland and live the demons out. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, the last train out now. Push against your bruises, tear apart your skin, drowns and bury every dream. You couldn't get a starring role within, no, no. Seal your excuses, it ain't what you say, it's what you do. Building up your wall so high, never gonna find a way to push on through. Carve up the wasteland and let the demons out. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, last train out now. Break up all your fears now, and break up all your doubts. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, the last train. In my head full of opera, one thing still rings true. The maker of these monsters might be you. Carve up the wasteland and let the demons out. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, the last train out now. Break up all your fears now, and break up all your doubts. One thing I can promise, this is the last train. Take us home, Aaron. Take us home. We love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. All of our love to Chance McElhaney, starting the future, the Iowa Insurance Division. Mike T, Aaron, I'm Gooding. Thank you. Yeah, buddy. Thank y'all. We appreciate you. Thank you. Mike G, Miss Erin O'Neill, I'm Gooding. Thanks for funding the future. We're going to show you a very quick film, just a couple minutes. It's some music that we've done for film, TV, and video games. We're going to come back out here, get a chance to hang out, talk, answer some questions. Folks, if you don't mind, we want to make sure we stay in touch with you while we're out there on the road. So please hit us up at Gooding Music. So you got your phones out, making it beautiful out there. Gooding Music, one word. Spotify, put us on your playlist. YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you know the deal. We want to keep in touch. The 50th person that signs up today, probably be like Instagram, just subscribe, like, hit it up, and we will announce a name. We'll tell one of the teachers, and we'll make sure we get you guys some shirts. We got some postcards and things for you, so we want to make sure everybody gets something. Again, this is some stuff we've done some music for. We'll be right back out. Thank you again, y'all. What a blast. Thank you.
Gonna go when the night gets cold, when the stars are black and the ground is cold. There you're gonna find me, honey, find me, honey, find me, honey. There you're gonna find me, honey. Right on now, baby, right on.
That's her?
That's definitely her.
She's a dime.
Oh, this girl's more than a dime, bro.
Oh my God, were you in love with this girl already? Sure, I've seen this
I
girl.
admire anyone who's honest and straightforward, and there never was any man more honest and straightforward than John.
Game on.
That's my move. Give me that ball.
You know what? I'm beginning to like this country already.
People. I was just informed we just have I guess there's a Snapchat filter up for this now. You are allowed to take some pictures, so tag us, stay in touch, all that good stuff. Guys, before I even jump into this, one more time, a couple of my favorite musicians, but also a couple of the kindest people you'd ever meet on this planet. That was Mike G. World on the drums and Miss Erin O'Neill on the guitar and the vocals. Give them a round of applause, please. Our friends at the Iowa Insurance Division, and of course, the charity Funding the Future. Carolyn Powell, the exec direct in the house today. Give it up for them for bringing us here, making all this happen. There's a lot of people behind the scenes working. Last one, tour managers don't get enough love, I believe. My man Tyler Colosso Casso with 57 jobs. He keeps us on the road, runs the sound. Give it up for Tyler Casso, y'all. All right, Des Moines. Do you know what I came to talk to you about today? Not insurance, money, finance, financial literacy. It doesn't sound cool? It doesn't. Look, we made some music. We're a little family now. This is real talk, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't sound cool. It doesn't sound very sexy. I know it doesn't sound very rock and roll. I know it doesn't. We've been very lucky. We got to talk to CNBC, Wall Street Journal. They always ask me the same question. They say, Gooding, Why is a rock band talking about finance? Aren't you guys supposed to be throwing televisions out the motel room windows and doing drugs and all this craziness? Nope. I tell them exactly what I'm going to tell you. To me, the most rock and roll thing on this planet is when people who are working hard get a fair shot and a level playing field. I'm not going to stand here and tell you to be a musician or an actor, an athlete, or anybody I'm about to make a little bit of fun of here on the screen. I'm here to tell you whatever it is that wherever you want to get, as long as it's not illegal, I want to see you get there as fast as possible. You are our future, and there's just some things that I feel like we haven't been learning in schools. Raise your hand if you've learned any financial literacy at your school. Maybe it's in math or econ. You have a financial literacy class? Wonderful. I know Iowa's big on this. That's why we found some great partners out here. Do you know that only 16% of the schools in this country are even talking about this? And here's what I say. I know it doesn't sound cool. When I was sitting in your seat, I would have been like, I don't get it, man. Just play some more rock and roll. I only have you for a few minutes, so I'm going to go quickly. But guys, I know this is going to affect you. I know it's going to affect you. Let me tell you how. Raise your hand if you want to buy a car, or if you already have a car, you want a nicer car in this room. Okay? Got to get to work? Okay, raise your hand or keep your hand up if you want to buy a house someday. Good, that's ownership. That's beautiful. Keep our communities going. All right, Des Moines, I'm going to split you in half on this one. Get ready. Who wants to get married someday? Yes. She said, yes. Okay, good for you. This is me. When I was your age, I was like, I don't have a date to the prom. I'm just going to practice my guitar. I was 3 feet tall till I was like 17 years old. Okay, good. Ladies and gentlemen, no, it's okay. We wild, man. We made some music together. It's fine. Y'all are being great. Guys, check this out. If you raised your hand or you even thought about raising your hand, maybe a little bit shy, that's okay. Financial literacy is going to affect you as much as anything else you're going to learn in school or even in college. I promise you. I left high school knowing more about geometry than how to balance a checkbook. I got to go to KU in Kansas on a Pell Grant. But guys, I screwed my credit score up before I even knew what a credit score was. Raise your hand if you know what a credit score is. I'm not going to make you say it. Okay. This is not Credit Karma on these bands, on these no. No, this is about lifting up our communities. This is about changing our lives and giving us some power to get where we want to go. This is what I thought the face of financial literacy was when I was your age. That's not actually my grandfather, but I think you get the picture. This is what I heard when people talk to me about it.
Gooding, you need to go slow and steady. You need to get a real job. You need to
So I don't need to hear this, man. I'm going to get a record deal. I'm going to buy my mama a house. I'm going to live happily ever after. It's just that easy, right? No, it's not, buddy. Oh, man. Guys, when I was growing up, I was born outside of Detroit, raised in Kansas. And every time I turned the television on, I saw somebody half naked, dancing, drinking, having a good time. I was like, ooh, I just got to get out to L.A., get famous, going to fix all my problems, right? Guys, I lived in L.A. for almost a decade. I met some of these famous people. Let me tell you something. They go up like this. They don't have any financial literacy. They come down even faster. And zero is no longer the bottom. I'm not trying to scare you. Money's not good or bad, but a lack of knowledge about money is hurting our communities and it's hurting our families. And so I figure if we could give you the tools, maybe you could bring this back to your families and your communities. You might be able to go get all of this stuff in a different place for the next generation as well. And look, I understand that it's not easy. I'm going to ask you to save. I'm going to ask you to have a budget. I'm going to ask you to do some things. I'm going to ask you to apply yourself to some things. But I tell you what, I know you're working hard. And I always tell people, I say, look, if you don't want to listen, I can't help you, but y'all are listening. And I say to people, look, if you want to work hard, I can't help you. But I met people at 3 in the morning after thousands of shows in bars and theaters, and I know a lot of people are working hard and still struggling. Real talk here, guys. You ever ask yourself how the rich get really, really rich and how if you're struggling, it's really hard to get off the ground? That's part of what we're talking about today is for you to have the tools for you and your families, and you might have to take this back home. And if they don't want to talk about it, that's okay. Find other people's, other friends, principals, us, teachers, anybody to ask questions. But we're going to learn this stuff real quick. Now, I didn't know this when I was your age. That's me dressed up like Kiss when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I was not afraid to work hard, but I wasn't working smart. I was maxing out my credit cards. I tried to get a loan to start my little record label. I didn't even know what a credit score was. After a while, I started getting my head around some of this, and I was really lucky. I had a single mama, raised me and my sister up, and she was really great. She was very supportive of us playing rock and roll, but I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. We did not talk about money at my house. We did not talk about credit scores. We didn't always open the bills on time. There were some struggles. If you have $1 in your pocket, and that's all you have, maybe that's all your family has, that's okay. I've been there. If you have $1, you got more money than some of these famous people. And do you know that you already have more money than a lot of people in this country because you're not in debt? You're in a place where if you start saving, you can make interest. Y'all know, raise your hand if you know what interest is. Interest is the money they're going to pay you if you have the discipline to leave your money alone, not buy crazy stuff with it, work hard and save a little bit. The reverse works, and that's why we're here to talk to you about it, and why we're going around the country talking about it, is you will pay someone else interest if you're not good with your money. Again, I didn't know this. Once I started asking questions, reading books, finding new mentors, educating myself, and stopped being afraid of talking about money. Don't keep it taboo. Don't keep it something that you think you can't talk to people about. Once I got a hold of that, had a little bit more discipline, started figuring out what I cared about instead of believing all this hype. Y'all ever turn your Instagram on, seem like everybody's having their best day, everything's all perfect? Y'all never compare your inside to someone else's outside. Every one of us has pain. Every one of us has struggles. You figure out what it is that you want to do. Again, as long as it's not illegal, even a minimum wage job, if you have the discipline to save as you're going, you can get to where you want to go. I was able to open a record label. I was able to open a publishing company. You guys know what a publishing company is? I know, I didn't come here to play you car commercials, I promise. The reason I just showed you all that stuff from film and TV, I wrote, recorded, mixed, engineered, mastered, and made the cold calls on every note of that. And after a while, I was what financial folks call diversified. That means I got money coming in from different places. In Los Angeles, we call this slipper checks. That means you get up in the morning, put on your slippers, go out to the mailbox and get your check. Now, that sounds like too easy of a way to make money, right? Remember I was talking about how people doing well do really well? They got those slipper checks. Every one of you can get those, but you have to start saving now. Your biggest asset is time. And that's why we're going around to middle schools, high schools, even some colleges talking about this. Because, again, no matter where you're starting from, your money can make money for you. You can get in a place where you're stable and you could do whatever it is you want to do later in life. But you have to start while you're a little bit younger. All this comes down to one thing, people. Control your money or it's going to control you. We have only 4% of people in this country under the age of 35 making more than $35,000 a year. 76% of us are living paycheck to paycheck. That means at the end of the month, we've got more days than we do money to pay for those days. You raise your hand about getting married. Do you know that 3 out of 4 of our divorces result directly from financial stress or miscommunication about money? It was that way in my family. One more, and don't fall asleep on this one because I know it was 100 years before you were all born. But in 1946, if you had that dollar in your pocket, you owed 22 cents of it on your house or your car. Most of us don't just have $300,000 to go buy a house. We have to get a loan. We pay a little bit of interest. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of new things now that didn't exist then. We got these same-day lenders. We got a bunch of credit cards. We got some of these predatory loans. Today, as a country, we now owe 110% on our money. That means we are spending more money than we're making. Here's the easiest way to look at financial literacy. All this to get you halfway there. This pocket is what you got coming in. This pocket's what you got going out. If you are spending more than you're making, you're going to suffer. You get out a piece of paper, you say, this is my income, this is what I'm buying. You put these things together, and it's a negative number. There's going to be negative things in your life. Again, I'm not trying to scare you. You still have time to get ahead of this. It's much easier to do it right while you're young than it is to make the mistakes and then have to dig out of it. And I've seen a lot of good people having to do that, and it hurts. It hurts our communities. It hurts our world. Let me show you some people that even though they were incredibly talented and intelligent, they just didn't have financial literacy. They just didn't. It's just the thing. Again, they go up like this. They come down even faster because it doesn't matter how much money they make. Their expenses rise to meet their income. Allen Iverson, let me give you something again. This may not sound cool, but it's going to help you. You may learn this in your classes. 2 kinds of expenses, ladies and gentlemen. Fixed expenses and variable expenses. Fixed is all the stuff you're going to buy anyway, right? You got to have some gas for the car, food, clothes. Maybe you don't need a $500 shirt. You get the Target shirt. This is about $6. Put your money away. Let it work for you. Variable expenses is all the crap that we buy that we don't even remember we had. You ever open up your closet, you're like, oh, man, I forgot I had that. Then you shouldn't have it yet. Put your money away. Let it work for you. Allen Iverson, variable expense, $850K to a jewelry store. He will never wear the same clothes twice. Ladies and gentlemen, this may all seem kind of cool and glamorous, but trust me, if you save the money first, you can buy what you want later. How many of y'all play sports in this room? Raise your hand, please, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's wonderful. Takes a lot of discipline. I'm terrible at sports. Do you know that 4 out of 5 are NFL players, 3 out of 5 are basketball players, NBA, are broke or financially stressed within 5 years of their contract? It does not matter how much money they make. Actors, same thing. One of Nick Cage's variable expenses, he spent $300,000 on a dinosaur skull. I know what you think. I know. You're thinking, Gooding, if I had this money, I wouldn't spend it on stupid stuff like that. Folks, they've studied this. You probably would. The way you look at that dollar when you leave this Civic Center is how you would look at $1 million. If you don't make the decision with me right now today, I could change my life with this information. I can help my families. I can help this community. I'm going to save a little bit. If you ain't saving $1, you would have saved $1 million when it came in the door. Trust me. Let me give you a good example, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to think money's bad. Yeah, give it up for the queen. Give it up. This is why we're doing this, guys. It's not just about money. This is about if we get ourselves together, we can help others, we can help this world. Beyonce has opened up 31 different charities. She worked with the Boys and Girls Club, United Way, some of the folks that we work with in the fight for financial literacy and financial equality. Guys, these are the type of things that you can do once you get yourself together. Let me give you some concrete things you could do. And, yeah, don't play the lottery either. That's 5 to 8 years. Those folks are broke and financially stressed. Does not matter how much they win. Again, the way you look at $1 is how you would look at $1 million. Here's what I want you to do. Here's something concrete you can do to change this. They're going to give you these little green and white postcards. And I think they'll probably be handing them out when you get back at your schools. Please, to good. You got some already. Hold that up, will you? Hold that postcard up. Hold those postcards. Let me see y'all got them. Folks, this little piece of paper can change your life. I promise you. Take those postcards from Funding the Future, and I'm going to give you a little incentive to learn what's on there, and I'm going to give you the answers, and the answers are on the postcard. You go online. It takes about 1-2 minutes. You just fill out a couple of questions, just a couple things about financial literacy so we know you're getting this information. And if you will do that, we will give you our new record for free. Everything we played today, everything we recorded out at the Sound City Complex in Los Angeles, folks, please take those with you. Here's what's on there. SMART goals. Say you want to buy a laptop. Be specific. How much does it cost? Measurable. How much money you got coming in? Attainable. Do you have a job? Realistic. Maybe we don't need a $5,000 laptop first time out. If you buy something cheap and work your way up, that's okay. Some of my favorite people that run companies started at the very bottom, so they learned everything about it. They have empathy for other people. The cat from Target, $41 million a year, he started there pushing carts. Guys, it's okay if you're starting from nothing. A lot of those people are the people that get that sand in the shell that makes the pearl. Those are the people with grit. That's okay. Last one, this was my weakest one, time-oriented. This was me when I was your age. Someday I'm going to get a record deal. Someday I'm going to be on the radio. Someday is not a plan. You got to put it down on paper. You got to work at it. You got to save. You got to be disciplined. If you're doing that, you're going to find out that at the end of the month, you might have a little bit of money left over. As soon as you are 18 years old, I want you to look into what is called a Roth IRA. Now, again, I know you're like, oh, here comes the financial terms. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to be a financial advisor. But in trying to give people some tools to improve their lives, I've asked about 200 financial advisors, what is one of the safest, best ways that young people can start saving and get in a place where they can protect themselves and their families? Here's why this thing is cool. First of all, it grows tax-free. You put in a little bit of money, pay a little tax up front, and so you're already looking at 20% over the years there. But it's called compound interest. Einstein called this magic, y'all. These return 6%. They're diversified. It's not trying to beat the stock market. It's stocks and bonds. You could talk to any local bank or credit union about this. Nothing to be afraid of. All you have to do is say, I want to open an IRA. You put your money in here, they give you 6% back. Here's how it works. You leave alone $100, they're going to pay you $106. Now, I know what you're thinking. Gooding, $6 is not going to change my life. That's not very rock and roll. Nope. But check this out. Leave it alone again. This is how people do real well who have discipline. They're going to pay you on your money and their money. The next time they're going to pay you on the 106, that means over time it starts going like this. And I love that you're taping this. I love it. I wish I was taping this when I was your age. Folks, check this out. If you could put away $50 a week starting at age 18, at 6% return, by the time you withdraw, you're at $678,000. That's how compound interest works. Yes, that means if you're putting away $75 a week, Now, it's not easy. You got to do it every week. You got to work these extra hours. I'm not saying it's easy. You could be a millionaire without doing anything illegal, getting famous, any of the rest of this craziness, and the rest of this hype that we see all the time, making us think that all of our happiness is out here and has to happen right now. No, folks. Just by going slow and steady, you can get to where you want to go. I've only got a couple more slides here, guys. Look, if you wait till you're 24 to start this, you're down to 460. Your money didn't have that time to compound. If you wait till you're 30, you're down to 308. This is why we're talking to young people. Let me give you a few things to watch out for, and I made some of these mistakes. First of all, who's going to college in this room? Raise your hand if you're going to college. Okay, that's excellent. Good. 2-year school, 4-year school, Ivy League, trade, I don't care. That's wonderful. You invest in yourself. Folks, as soon as you're 18, and especially when you hit the campus, it's going to get real easy to start buying everything you don't need, and they are going to try to give a credit card to your dog. They will give you 10 credit cards. I was like, ooh, I'll take 10 credit cards. I'm going to start a record label. Y'all do not need 10 credit cards. You only need one credit card after you've used a debit card. It's attached to a checkbook. That means you can't spend money you don't have. Guys, I just told you how much money you and your family can make at 6%. How much money do you think leaves our community if at the end of our 30 days we haven't paid our credit cards off and they're charging us 15, 20, 25%? Folks, it's a lot of money. You could be buying the same thing 1, 2, 3 times by not understanding how this interest works. One more example. I want to save student loans for the questions. Hey, anybody wants to talk about student loans, we'd love to talk about it. One more example of something to watch out for, same-day lenders. I live in Nashville right now. There's a street called McGavick there. There's 13 same-day lenders in 2 blocks. You know what these are, folks? You see them in the little strip malls, little fluorescent lights. It says 10% on the window. Say you haven't been saving. You have a bad day. You got an emergency. You come in here. You're like, cool, I need $100. I'll pay you back 110. That's fine. It's not how it works. They want you to think they're banks. They got linoleum countertops, safety deposit boxes. It's not a bank. It's not a bank. When you sign those little contracts, and believe me, they spend plenty of time trying to make it confusing and small. It's called a rollover. What do you think the average interest in America is for a same-day lender right now if you miss a couple of those payments? 30%, 40%. That's where they break even. I'm not against. They got to make some money, man. These are risky loans. I get it. No, it's 400%. Just played a couple shows in Mississippi. In the South, it's up to 1,300%. Guys, think about that. For every $1,000 that you miss, you could owe them $13,000. We see the cops taking the houses and the cars. It gets real easy to judge people, but there's a lot of people that are trying that don't know what these rules are. So let's put the word out. Find a local bank or credit union. This is going to be the last thing I'm going to talk to you about today, and I'm going to bring Aaron out here to answer some questions. Credit score, ladies and gentlemen, we started this. It's one of the easiest ways to make sure you could get that house and that car. Starts at 500. Nothing to worry about. Everybody's issued one at 18. It's simply like a GPA, a judgment of your financial literacy. It's like a grade of your understanding of money. If you're doing what we talked about today, if you're opening your bills on time, you're saving some money, you're making sure you pay this stuff on time, it's going to go up to 700, 800. When you go into that local bank or credit union, they're going to give you a loan for that house or that car, and they're only going to charge you a little bit of interest. Now, if you're like me, you didn't learn this stuff, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either they're going to charge you a lot of interest because they can't trust you. They don't know they're going to get their money back. They can't run their company if you don't pay them back. Or number 2, they are simply not going to give you the loan, and that's how we get stuck, and that's how a lot of our communities get stuck, and things start getting worse. One of the best ways we can improve our communities is to raise our credit scores and have some power over what it is we're doing together. Y'all have been wonderful. One last example here. Say you're going to buy, this is the last one. Guys, say you're going to buy a car. It's like a little Camry, $23,000, nice car. 730 credit score, they're going to give you the money for 2% interest. They're going to charge you an extra 2%. That means over the 5 or 6 years you're paying back this loan, you're going to pay an extra $1,300. That's not bad for the privilege of using that money. If the same person on the exact same day goes in for the exact same car, but their credit score is 599, they're going to charge you 15%. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not on the sticker on the side of the car. This is in the contract you're signing. You are going to pay almost $11,000 in interest. Yes, that means for not keeping your credit score high, you're going to pay $33,000 for a $23,000 car. Now imagine, ladies and gentlemen, what happens when you go get a loan for a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 house someday. Literally over the course of your life, this can be hundreds of thousands of dollars that you could use to keep things rolling. Folks, you've been so wonderful listening to all this. One more time, the Iowa Insurance Division, our friends at Funding the Future. Let's get Miss Erin O'Neill back out here. Give her a round of applause, and we're going to take some questions. What's happening? Okay, I understand they have a couple of mics down here. side, so feel free. I know it might seem a little intimidating. It's a nice big venue, but we are here for you. So please, if you have any financial literacy question, come on down and ask. We've got a free gift for anybody that wants to check you. I heard two things. I heard they had some people that had already asked about coming down for questions, or should we just take them out of the audience? We got somebody right there. We got a few hands up. How would you like to work this, Tyler? If you're close, you want to shout it out, and I'll repeat it. Guys, there's 2 mics down here on the side. If somebody wants to come, yeah, come on down. No problem. Hey, how you doing? All right. Yeah, buddy.
Hello. How fast can you raise your credit score?
It kind of depends on if you're doing the right things. So like Gooding said, the first thing that you guys can do to take care of your credit score is to pay all your bills on time every time. So your credit score, when you get one, it starts around 600. Any bills that you have, like your cell phone bill or a car payment, if you're paying those on time, it's going to go up. Okay? And when you get a credit card and you use it responsibly, you put those fixed expenses on there, like gas or food, things that you're going to need, that's also going to help your credit score go up. So the faster that you're doing good things, if you start off doing with good habits, your credit score will go up pretty quick.
All right, thank you.
Give her a round of applause. That's a financial literacy question. It's a great question.
Thank you. I was going to say a bad word, but never mind. Okay, so did you guys go to college? And if you guys did you guys take out loans?
I love that you asked this question. I was really lucky that I was able to get what's called a Pell Grant. We always say OPM, other people's money. Before you borrow a bunch of money, before you get a student loan, talk to your teachers, counselors, anybody, see what it is that you're good at, what you're passionate about, and see if there's maybe a school that's interested in that might help you with the tuition. I was really lucky that Pell Grant helped it. Also, I didn't go to a really expensive school. I went to a state school. It was actually a really good school. I was very lucky Kansas has some good universities. But folks, let me just say this. Be really careful. If you could be a doctor or a lawyer, you know you're going to make a bunch of money, that's fantastic. But be really careful borrowing too much on the student loans. Because I've met people who went to Ivy League schools, but they didn't know what they want to do. They borrowed a bunch of money, they're in trouble. And I know people who went to trade schools. We just talked to some kids in Wyoming that are welders. They're probably going to be millionaires because they ask the right questions. They read. They're nice to everybody around them. It's going to be you that's going to affect what's going to happen even more than going to a fancy school. That's what I believe anyway. But when you get the student loans, just be careful of the interest rate. There's 2 kinds. There's subsidized and unsubsidized. The subsidized ones are backed by the government. A lot of times those are around 7 or 8%. That's manageable interest. But first, try to see if there's some, maybe a state school or a local school you can go to if you're worried about money.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome question.
Come on down. Can you reach that? Mm-hmm. Got it?
My question is, what is the highest amount you should save?
Ooh, that's a great question. Aaron, what you think?
As much as you possibly can. As much as you possibly can, because you never know what might happen, what might come up. You never know what's going to happen in the future. Sometimes bad things happen, like my car got broken into one time when I got home off a tour, and I had to pay for the window, and I was so glad that I had money saved in the bank so I could just drive my car over, get my window fixed, and be done with it. You might want to buy a house. You might want to do a lot of things. So if you have more money saved, you have more flexibility in your life. You're able to do those things more easily. So as much as you possibly can, we recommend starting off, if you're just starting off with saving, maybe do about 10% of whatever you make. So if you get a paycheck for $100, put $10 in a savings account. Don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Don't be afraid to talk to those banks. Those local banks and credit unions are happy to talk to you. You can start a savings account for like $5. Under 18, it may take one parent to co-sign, but please don't be afraid to talk to them.
Why does America charge 11 times the amount of money for college than other countries?
Well, I don't know that statistic, but I will say this, my brother. College is definitely going up in price, which is why I kind of refer back to that thing of really figure out, what you want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, it's okay to start at a community college and still, finish at a bigger school. But college is definitely getting very expensive for some.
All right.
Hey.
Hello. When can I start saving, and how much is a reasonable amount to put in?
We love that question. You should start saving yesterday. So, okay, right now, today, you go home from school, you talk to your parent or guardian and say, I want to open up a savings account. All it takes is $5.
All right.
So you can put in more than that, you can put in much more than that, but all we want you guys to really take away from this is that you are responsible and feel empowered for your own financial success. So you take $5, you put it in the bank today, that's the first step. So start now.
Thank you.
Great question.
How do you start a credit score?
So here's the good news. Everybody gets a credit score. As soon as you're 18, you will be assigned a credit score. Now, again, it starts at about 500. What you want to do is just pay your bills on time. Make sure you try to get a job and make sure you pay everything. When it comes in, open it. Don't leave it in a pile in the corner. And they're going to see that. They're going to see that you're good with your money, and then your credit score is going to go up, and that'll help you get access to other things.
Okay, thank you.
Great question, brother. Hey.
What made you guys come to Iowa instead of like other states? Because you guys live in California or LA?
Absolutely. Well, the cool thing is we've been doing this long enough that we get to go all over now. But, you know, the Midwest is pretty close to my heart because I spent a lot of years growing up in Kansas. So the charity actually started right here in the middle. We ran into Chance and the folks from the Iowa Insurance Division, and they were bringing us up here to play different schools around the state. And as that built over the last couple, 3 years, they said, hey, let's do an even bigger event. So we're just hoping, there's other bands doing this now with us at Fun in the Future. We're just hoping it grows and grows. But we'll come back to Iowa anytime. We love it.
Thank you.
What happens if your credit score gets too low?
Great question.
That is an awesome question. When your credit score is low, things like that last slide that Gooding showed you with the car, right? There's like an almost $11,000 price difference in that car. Because when your credit score is low, it shows that you haven't been making good financial decisions. Or maybe you paid a lot of bills late. Maybe you have a ton of credit card debt or a loan that you're not paying off. That shows people out there, people like the car dealers, they're going to see that and be like, that person's not been very responsible with their money, so we're going to charge them more to get this car to make sure we get the money that we need. So things like that, things become more expensive. It can be harder to get apartments. Every apartment that I've ever lived in, they've done a credit check. So they check your credit score, make sure that you've been on time with your rent, things like that. And sometimes even employers look at it.
Yes.
So
yes.
The idea is don't even let it get bad. We're telling you this today so that you can start building your credit score as soon as you turn 18, that you know this, because most people don't even know that they have a credit score a lot of the times. So that you know this information, you turn 18, you get bills in your name, and you know what to do. Your credit score won't ever go low if you keep doing those things.
Thank you.
I think we got time for one more, two more. Good deal. And for those of you that don't get to ask your question, feel free if you see us after or hit us up online.
What do you think about Social Security, and should people fully rely on that for retirement?
Man, that's a heavy question, man. I was not asking these questions at your age. You got the love. So, I don't think you should. I don't think you should rely on it entirely. No, I think it's a wonderful thing as you're working. Something's being put away for later. That's a great program. But I think as much as you can save and invest in yourself and make sure you got a bedrock, that's going to make it better for you, your family, and this world. So. Great question, brother. Is this the last one? Okay.
How do you know which is the right question to ask?
Now that's a heavy question. How do you know which is the right question to ask? You know what? I'm going to turn that around on you a little bit. I think you're asking a question I ask all the time. Do you ever feel like overwhelmed with the amount of stuff coming at you? You know, it's kind of like, where do I even start? I always say the worst first. Like whatever I don't know and I think is hurting me, I want to go and attack that. I want to try to learn that. So I would just ask the question that you think is going to get you the farthest, the fastest. That's actually the reason why, as a rock and roll band, we're talking about something that might not sound cool like financial literacy, Because we think if you're asking questions about how to save and how to really the discipline in your life and how to get your families together, that's rock and roll. That's going to help everybody. But just, start where you're at. If you have any questions for us, feel free to, send us a line. But a lot of times it's just a matter of just kind of figure out what it is you need to attack first and just go after it.
And just ask questions in general. I know a lot of times people walk into a bank or something and they don't understand what's being told to them, or they're taking out a loan, they don't understand the terms. That's what happens a lot with student loans. You don't understand the weight of that responsibility. So ask as many questions as possible. If you don't understand something, if you don't understand what an interest rate means, if you don't understand what a credit score is, an IRA, ask. Ask as much as you can, because the more you know, the more you'll be able to make better choices.
Absolutely. Guys, I think that's our time. I can't thank you enough. Y'all have been a wonderful audience. Again, this has been a great thing to get to do. Just remember, I know it may not sound rock and roll, but we could change our world with this stuff. We love y'all. Hit us up on those postcards, please. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Take a little picture with this guy. Tag us at Gooding Music. Hey. All right. Yeah, you got it. Hey, here's the thing. Every single person in this room can have a gift. Just hit us on the postcard and we'll make sure everybody gets the record. Stay in touch with us. Thanks, y'all.